I told Bob I like jazz, blues and jazz, and what I love about those forms of music is adapting on your feet to different situations. So when I found out that someone I was really hoping to reunite with, Ed Lull, was not going to be here at the beginning, and that Bob had to necessarily shift time around, it excites me in a way. Not that Ed isn't here, that's very sad to me. However, it excites me to adapt and improvise and do things differently. So these are all things I've written, and one of them is about something in a curious way I haven't talked about yet, which is humor. Probably if you had only heard what I've read up till now or talked about, you'd think, well, the fellow's well-meaning, but he's kind of dire. Everything he's writing about is like a young man who can't afford to go to college anymore, and you heard me say, and he never could visit his professor anymore because he had to get some kind of practical job. No one was going to give him money to be spiritual and poetic anymore, or take photos of hawks in the kudzu anymore. This guy had to do a job. So what I'm getting at is that's part of my life, but the very same person and I might have been laughing the next day, because in a way art should be also an optimistic process. So some of these will be funny. Some of these are, to use Carolyn's term, confessional, very confessional. And that's where they get funny and sad at the same time. And that's the balance I like. If I were to be a critic, as some have been about my work, I would say my mean, not like mean anger, mean, middle tone is serio-comic. I'm a serio-comic writer. I try to be good-natured, but also deep when I possibly can combine the two. So this is a teacher after a long semester. Body hair, or professor's quandary. Did the small green fly have a right to use my body on its way to who knows where? To climb those sun-warmed hair patches, both fine and coarse? Up, leg, arm, final leap into the thicket of my tingling chest? As I drank tea in an Adirondack chair, relaxed for the first time in weeks, that first free day of Easter break, gloriously bright and blue, surrounded by glazed crocuses and daffodils like topaz gemstones near our garden patch, in aftermath of soft night rain, where, tickling me incessantly, it rubbed its twisting head with tiny feet as if it owned the forest of my chest. Unwary of my need for mindless peace, after another term of hearing my voice buzzing moral truths in time for final tests. Perhaps no monumental question in our busy world, but after slapping it unconsciously, snagged in the tangle of my breast, sincere, if not profound. And I'll just read. Again, it's been my want in latter years. I began writing books of poems and then books of what were almost journal notes, journalistic prose, poems. It's combined more and more, and now I look at it as just two voices in my own lyric writing, which is, if I want to say something more edifying, I use the prose poem, almost like the parables. I feel audacious saying this, the parables of Jesus or the parables of Buddha. The idea of philosophically helping or teaching through a piece of writing. The poems are often more personal. I'm still in the quandary that I began, but I'm sharing the experience without resolution. So I look at the two forms as something I juggle through the same volume for the mood I'm in, what I'm trying to convey. So here's one. A small study of faith before arising from my bath to teach world literature. I'm kneeling in the tub again, toweling my thinning hair, awaked as usual from some distant world by the skirl of draining water. For some reason on this morning, in the silence that ensues, I stop my dreams of elsewhere and peer down into the black hole of the drain, glimpse the waxen ebony of a tiny cricket shell about to disappear forever through the inner wire mesh, its crisp legs waving frantically, its head and upper back already through. I try to grip its lower thorax, but there's not enough exposed. Dripping still, I rise to grab a tweezer from the nearby shelf, hunker down again and poke. But it's too slippery, and damn it all, I now begin to mash it. Careful, careful. I try to squeeze more gently than before. Up, up, but damn again, it sprawls against that minute grate with gestures of a martyr. I'm suddenly aware that I've been at this for too long. My hair, chest, back, even my groin and toes still soaked. I'm going to be late for class. But I believe that I must save him, or at least that I must try. I believe two people can stay married for a lifetime, even if it's true that Emma Bovary in one blind moment broke her vow to a kind, plain man and lost her soul. But I believe beyond all that, I'll tell my class as I stumble in 5 minutes late, in pure forgiveness, as we strive to help the world in those small ways we can. I believe, in fact, please do not laugh, all wars can end. And I believe that if God is, that he might love us. And more, yes, even more, that he might try. But for now, this broken insect has sucked fully down the drain, leaving not a trace for me to ponder anymore.